Welcome to In the Parlor with Al. Today, Al welcomes Mark Tuba Smith. Mark Smith was born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana, and has been bringing its music around the world from an early age. He played for many years with Doc Paulin's brass band and went on to become a founding member of the Pinstripe Brass Band. Mark has been making music on the streets of New Orleans for over 4 decades. Join us in welcoming Mark Tuba Smith to the Parlor.
What got you into music and why did you choose the tuba?
You know, I got into the music when I was going to in grammar school, like 5th grade. I stayed uptown on Magnolia Street.
Yeah.
They had this school named Phone where my mother went there. Phone on 7th and Magnolia.
Yes, indeed.
And they had the band teacher named Mr. Lear. And you know, back then the teacher came and the children on their break used to come out there and say, what instrument you gonna get? And everybody used to rush up there and grab the instrument.
Yeah.
So the only one was left
was the tuba.
Was the tuba. So I said, oh yeah, that. So I said, well, I'm gonna have to do something with that. So,
Yeah.
and I picked that one up. But the strangest part about that, it was too big. So you just have to curl, you hook the neck and the mouthpiece part up.
Yeah.
I have to blow it to the ground and stepping all inside of it.
Wow. That's interesting. And Tommy LaFawn School is where you
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
Now that's a very interesting subject as well. Tommy LaFawn was from Treme.
Yeah,
So that's why you're still playing in Treme, because you got that soulful connection. With
Tommy LaFawn, and back then they had some great, tremendous teachers, you know, and back then people cared more than like your father and father and father figure.
Yeah. And I'm certain that's what you probably do today with some younger tuba aspirant.
Yeah, they soaked in because, my parents came from my mama, and my mama was a famous choir director. And back then they had the Southern Baptist, Southern Baptist.
Absolutely.
It wasn't no Baptist church, it was the Southern Baptist. When people came and all these songs like people singing all in the field and all that kind of carrying on.
Yeah.
Man. So my mom used to have me, this how I really got the music into my heart.
Okay.
When my mom used to grab me, oh, that's my baby.
Okay.
And I was singing in the junior choir. And my mama said, oh yeah. And my mama's favorite song, she told me, I'll stay by her side.
So you would say that your mom was your musical inspiration?
Yeah, thank you.
That's quite interesting. What about your dad? Was he a musician?
My daddy was in the Army.
Okay.
U.S. Army, sergeant in the United States Army.
That's all right. Yeah.
And also, the old Brown Derby by the Flint Gutchers Hospital.
The Brown Derby?
The Brown Derby uptown.
You're too young to know about the Brown Derby.
My daddy was one of the co-owners and founder of the Brown Derby.
Brown Derby, across the street from Flint Goodrich.
That's right. And let me tell you, my daddy got in trouble with my mama because I come from an alcoholic family. And my mama sent me over there. My mama drank vodka.
Okay.
You're doing sending my baby in here and getting that vodka. And next thing I knew, the crystal hot sauce was flying all over the place.
A real Louisianian, not only musician, but a real Louisianian.
Let me tell you something. I'm trying to tell you.
So Mark, tell me, and our viewing audience, if you were offered the opportunity to hook up or collaborate with a musician, who would you pick? Which musician would you like to work with?
Which musician?
Yeah. Besides me, of course.
Well, of course, there was so many. I had several. One with the great Ricky Parlor, because people that I admire and I get more out of the musician, and they know part of me, and I can get some things going further ahead than where I'm at now. So
Okay.
I'll pick Mike right there, Mr. Mike. He come along, and let me tell you something. This man guidance, this man help. How you come from another place and come down into New Orleans, and how he lifted me up as a musician. Because being a musician here, you go through many things.
Yeah.
Many different personalities and all that.
Absolutely.
And then everybody want to play music. And that musician, they ain't no easy task being no musician at any given time,
No.
Oh man, you run into all kind of stuff.
I agree with you.
I was taught after I left for Tumbler Phone, went to Carter G. Wilson High School. That's when I really began to get into it. Mr. Walter Harris was my band director in 1967.
I grew up with him.
And
That's so small world.
1967. That's when I got off that tuba, and he showed me how to begin to play the music. And I was taught the notes in grammar school. That as soon as I got the Wilson band, I'm in the band.
Because you were reading musician.
I was reading music when I got there, and Mr. Harris
can
put
go
it
a long
on.
way.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. When you're at further advanced, and if you got seasoned, they had some seasoned teachers out here. If they see something inside you, it don't take as long because they can touch your heart.
Exactly.
And once you develop
and bring out
coming
the
of the
talent.
music, that's how it gonna come out.
Kind of like Miss Bush.
Man, and once they set you down there, people could pick you. It's like being in something like when you're into a professionalism thing.
Yeah.
It grows because people can once a person touch
your heart. Yeah.
You begin to play, and the music come out. And
you lose all your inhibition. Like, I'm free to flow. Let me just roll with it.
Yeah, and make you keep stay interested. People lose interest by putting the instrument down. I never put that horn down. I love it so much. I wanted to stay at it all day.
That's good.
But the hardest part is about getting your pieces together when you're learning that music. Oh Lord, have you heard of that city where the streets the pavement go? Oh, have you heard of the city where the streets the pavement go?
We know about Trombone Short and his brother James Andrews, of course, the great Tuba Fat Lason, who used to live in Treme as well. But where have you played besides here in New Orleans? Have you had a chance to go outside of New Orleans or Louisiana, outside of the country, and play in Europe?
Oh man, I've been.
Tell us about that.
I'm gonna tell you about that. Since you mentioned,
now, leave the girls out now.
Oh yeah, since you mentioned that, you mentioned Tuba Fat, you mentioned Trombone Short, and Taylor. But I come from uptown. Then from uptown to downtown. I loved the horn so much. I began to have a challenge, and I didn't want to put the horn down, so I come from uptown to downtown.
Across Canal Street.
Marching.
And that was dangerous at
in
that
a
time.
full band by myself. When they had a second line on,
hey,
everybody say, "What? There go Mark Tuba." But I was on the trombone for you. So I was on that trombone.
Okay.
coming down the street. And then next thing you know,
Like Big Jim Robinson.
I'm in the sixth ward with James Andrew and them the trombone show, Nothing But Babies. They started right there in the house. So I'm from uptown to downtown. When the Treme got started, that was uptown. Now I'm the only one. You know, people back then, they say, if you coming out your area, from out that Magnolia Project and coming out here, or you trying, boy, you better have to be a bad somebody coming out, because they got some of the best music, because they had that man, Mr. Houston, used to teach that music.
Oh yeah, William Houston.
Teach that music right there.
Yeah.
And I had a pleasure to play with James Andrew and Trombone Short and them. Guess where I was at the age of 14 years old?
Where?
Bologna, Italy.
Really?
Traveling with the All-Star Brass Band.
That's a
playing the tuba.
Playing the tuba.
And we learned that music. Then, see, from uptown to downtown, every section is different. Everybody had everybody had their admirers, you know, everybody had someone that they look up to.
Yeah.
See, like in the 7 Ward, you had the Danny Barkers and all them people back there.
That is so true.
And I had somebody on my side too, because I had Mr. Bill Syndergaard and Joe Simon them on the next post from me. They're the one who put the Joe Avery second line down.
Yes, indeed.
Bill Syndergaard, he's the right.
Bill Syndergaard is the one as Danny Barker and Louis Armstrong as well.
Man, let me tell you.
They were members of the Negro Musician Union, Local 496. They were union musicians as well.
And he was a man that discovered that and told my mother, you better catch that little man right there. And catch him and let him get with some of these good musicians, and he gonna be somebody, because he got something going on there. I had a unique sound, and still do.
And since you had a unique sound, can you kind of describe your sound?
Well, let me tell you something. I'm the one. I'm not bragging about it. I'm the one.
Brag about it. It's all right.
Let me tell you.
You're the Parlor without. Brag about it.
Yeah, I'm the one who put that whoop whoop, and then I just jump up and spin around. Whoop whoop whoop.
That's your lick.
That ripping.
That's your lick. Whoop whoop
whoop whoop. And they say, "Here come Tuba."
Here come Tuba.
And look, I ain't get a horn a break. And every time I start a song off, they know the drummers come in there, and they have that little. See, about the second line, they have this little rag, this little dragon slow beat.
Yeah.
And then go boom, 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 boom. The music just right now today. 62 years old, and I'm still, I ain't still letting it down, let that thing go. I sit on and listen, and how I got involved playing all this the jazz music. The great Doc Pauline, that's my first
Doc Pauline, yeah, Doc Pauline.
On 7th Street when they had the incinerator.
Next door, across the street.
Yeah, the man stayed right there.
Doc
and guess
Pauline.
what? They bathroom across the street from the house.
Yeah.
Mr. Doc Pauline.
I remember Doc Pauline.
1907, he was born in 1907, died 2007 at 100 years old.
Yeah.
And I played, Mr. Doc had 3 different bands. I played, let me tell you something about that. Back then, they had a tuba made out of cast iron. It was so heavy, nobody ain't gonna play. But I got on it.
Really? Out of cast iron?
Out of cast iron, that thing was like a you've been on it, but it had a nice sound.
So you think the sound from a cast iron tuba generator produce a better sound than the tuba you're playing today, or even the plastic, or fiberglass rather? Which one you think produces the best sound? Or is it still based on the individual tuba player?
Well, that cast iron, I'm telling you, the cast iron is a bit different than all of them have their sound, but nothing ain't carrying out the sound like the brass, the mellow, and you know, it depends on
Okay.
what you want to hear that produce that sound. But here in New Orleans, you know, this is the ragtime thing, and everybody say, how come every time you see all these tour players with all these dancing, because everything count.
Every did come.
Everything count in a sousaphone, because if you put it in it, that's another.
Another octave, another
Thank
sound.
you.
Yeah. Like oops upside your head.
You come on now, y'all. I know it was. I know it was blood. I know it was blood for me.
Tell our audience the best advice that you've been given, if not by a musician, by anyone who meant something to you. Preferably a musician, but share that with us, would you?
Let me tell you, my best advice is
Who gave it to you?
my brother Anthony Smith. He's the St. Augustine Purple Knight, you know, and he's one of my influences. That and he went to Wilson,
Okay.
Phone, all that stuff. He played the horn, and three brothers. So me and him, close. So I got there. I said when I started playing the horn, I said, oh yeah. He give me. I took all of his advice and I used some of his tools that he was being taught,
Yeah.
and it rubbed off on me.
Okay.
And I paid attention.
That's good.
And the best advice is paying attention. If
You said a mouthful.
if
Pay
you don't
attention.
if you don't pay attention to nothing that you want to do, man, how in the world you gonna get anywhere?
That is so true.
And
That is so
and
true.
always follow your first source and look at people dead in the eye. And believe me, you're gonna get a little discouraged, but always remember somebody telling you something, they're telling you something for your own
For
good.
your own good. Even in the music world.
That's it.
And that's what the old timers used to do. They hear a young musician playing and say, oh, he just screwed that one up. But they put him on the side, didn't embarrass him.
But what I like, when I got over there, they had Mr. Carl Bluen and Mr. Evan Hampton over there at St. Augustine.
Oh, yeah.
Man, they were telling me how rough this man is going to be. When I found out, you know, ain't nothing rough unless you challenge it, because you're going to go through many challenges
In life.
in life and in that music.
Yeah.
If you're playing football, baseball, basketball, or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you dealing with the St. Augustine, everybody say, oh yeah, you're going to say no, you got to get in the band. Well, of course, you're going to run into the teachers.
Yeah.
And if you ain't playing nothing, you either going to be in their band, they're going to put you behind no. I'll learn, know what I like? Somebody's going to get the getting it right, or either going to tell me what I'm doing wrong or right, and then that way I don't have to leave it alone, because that means if they kill, I'm going to have to kill.
Exactly.
Or they don't want you around them. That's what I like.
So you
If you don't care, then guess what? Man, don't waste my time out here.
So then it's safe to say that Mr. Edwin Hampton,
Yeah.
Ed Hampton, St. Augustine band teacher,
yeah.
right? That he also helped to shape your musical career.
Woo! Man, you talking about it, because you know, that's something that's when you're growing up, and then you're growing up in your teens, and you're in that area, you know, everybody's gonna do certain things, and you know, you're buck wild. And if you're interested in something, it's just like things going on now.
Yeah.
Man, your mind on doing something, man, the job done, because you ain't got time to be paying attention to nothing else.
Yeah. Well, practice makes perfect, and the more you practice, the better
And
musician
you
you
know
become.
what? The
And
best
also
part
the-
I like, if you love it, doing it, it'll work. You gotta love it, and also you have to want it.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so true, man.
We call this man Tuba, Tuba man.
Yeah.
Because he always carry his tuba everywhere he goes.
Even for the nursery, girl.
Yes, baby. So
I like when you do the
we
nursery.
enjoy him.
And there's another
Me
lady
and
that comes
him
to the bus
is
stop.
friends.
There's another young lady.
Oh,
that
there's
comes.
another young lady.
Beginning of the tuba. If we look at the serpent, historically the serpent dates back to the 1600s, and it was made of wood and leather and I guess like paper mache, but life is about evolution. So by 1835 we've got this fancy dancy looking tuba, of course, predates the tuba which Mark Smith is playing as well as tuba fat. Where did the tuba come from our historical perspective here in the United States of America and New Orleans specifically? Well, if we go back to 1863, and if we pan in, if you don't mind, Mr. Cameraman, if we pan in on that image on the wall, that's the beginning of brass bands in New Orleans. That's a depiction of an actual funeral of Captain Andre Caillou, who was killed during the Civil War, and he was a free man of color in New Orleans, but accompanying his hearse is a brass band. Brass instruments came to us, as in folk from Treme and Uptown folk as well, from the Civil War. I know I'll be contested on this next statement, but Africans don't play brass, and they didn't play brass. That's a European thing. Now, after colonization, when the Europeans were now in West and East Africa, as well as in India and in China, the brass instruments from Europe took over the bands. So the whole idea of brass band and marching, and as Mark mentioned earlier, military style, it came from the military. And somebody got hip enough and said, let me just add some of this African footwork with this brass stuff, and we're going to start buck jumping. And thank God, like a good gumbo, it all came together. That's just a little brief synopsis of the history of jazz and its origins. This is Al Jackson with In the Parlor with Al. Thank you again. Looking forward to our next segment.
Closer, walk with thee. Oh yeah, Granny Jesus, will you please? Oh yeah, oh daily walking close to thee. Oh Lord, let it be, dear Lord. Oh Lord, let it be. Weak right now, and I'm so strong. Lord, I'm strong now.